The conversation continues on Houston's Morning News with Matt Patrick.
KTRH news time is 6:47. Well, school is never out, or maybe it is, or maybe it's out and then you're in. Let's talk about it. Gayle, Fallon, Houston Federation of Teachers joining us. Also, Neal McCluskey of the Cato Institute. We're talking about credit recovery classes that students can take if they're having trouble in the normal classroom environment. Gayle, welcome back to Houston's Morning News. Great to have you on. Is this a good idea? Because once these kids leave school, I mean, life is not like this. You don't get a lot of second chances.
No, but, you've really got a choice. You can have an unemployable young adult out there, or you can give them a second chance. And if you give them a second chance and really work with them, then there's a good chance you may get them to go on to some kind of training that will prepare them for some form of decent job that'll provide them a middle-class lifestyle.
But, Neal, why would a kid work real hard in class if he knows all he got to do is come in on the weekend for a few hours and he gets the credit anyway?
Well, I think you're right that we see that this is often seen as something that you can just go to if you don't want to put in full effort in many classes. I think the bigger problem, though, is a lot of school districts that we've seen, and surely it varies from school district to school district around the state and around the country, but many of them use it as kind of an easy way to make sure they hit goals that they are given for graduation rates or advancing kids to another grade, and that's the concern. But it's absolutely true. We need to make sure people have second chances. What we need to do, though, is make sure that they can take the money that's for education and apply it when they are ready to do all sorts of different training or things they need to get the skills that they need.
Now, Gayle, the graduation or dropout rates, actually, of HISD dropped almost in half when we implemented this program. Is it fair to say that this is just a grand and glorious, or is it skewing the numbers here, faking the numbers?
I haven't really looked at the numbers, to be honest, but it has brought kids back that wouldn't have graduated. And it's not getting a lot of kids that just say, I think I'll just go take a few courses. Because, first of all, it's not a couple hours a day. They really have to apply themselves. They've got to pass the final exam. What they don't have to do is sit in class, but what it does is it accommodates the kid who can't be there from 7:30 to 3:15.
Well, Gayle, I got a kid here, Quilson Norales, senior at Yates High School, who said that he was real happy with this program. It only took him 3 hours to earn back the credits that he squandered during a semester's worth of naps.
Well, some kids actually know the material. I had a godson who walked in and, with no prep work, took a GED. We have kids who can walk out and say, well, I'll just wait a little bit and take the test. At least these kids are taking the course.
Neal, do you think it's going to help them once they graduate?
I don't. I mean, there is something where you get some value just from having a high school diploma, regardless of what that represents. But that is very limited and is decreasing every single year. But again, it is important that we don't lock people into a certain future because they didn't do well in a course when they were 16 or 17. The solution to that, though, isn't sham courses that let them get something called a high school diploma, even if it means nothing. What we've got to do is change education where we essentially fund students, not schools,
right,
and they go and they attain skills and they get degrees as they are ready to do the work where they're actually learning something, and that degree or that diploma means something.
Thank you very much, Gayle, Fallon, Neal McCluskey. We appreciate the roundtable discussion here this morning.